All right, welcome to adding 3D warehouse furniture and interior details. We're going to dig into how to do just that. So the first thing we need to do, right, as you see, I've gone through and I've cut out all my openings, my windows, my doors, right? So I'm ready to add a bunch of things. Now, the first thing I want to do, right, so I want to protect everything that's on that walls level, right? That walls and floors level. So I'm going to triple click, right? Just like we talked about previously about groups. I'm going to right click. I'm going to go to group, right? Next, I'm going to go to 3D warehouse, right? And look at this. All this great stuff pops up. So let's kind of look at, right? Let's try to set up this living room space, right? So it's actually a living room and a kitchen, right? So let's start with this sofa first. So let's dig into that. So we're going to go to sofa. Actually, let's call it a corner. All right, so corner sofa. And let's say we take, notice how the long end is down there. Let's see. And actually, before we get into that, let's kind of look at the top real quick, right? So I think in the beginning we talked about how there's user-based models, there's manufacturer-based models. So let's look at a difference. So there's products, there's models, there's collections, there's catalogs, right? So let's see how these play out. Kind of look at the difference. Right, these are more like branded. Right? You can kind of look at the names, right? The Walter Knoll Indonesia collection, right? What are these collections? Right, so these are individual users or designers, possibly. Right, and then these models, they look Dhaka Design, right? Great, Chris G, right? So these are some high-end users. Then we just go to products. That's just like the general stuff. It's a little bit of a mix of everything, honestly. So I kind of like this IKEA one, I guess. This is a little confusing. So you can look at, right, see more details. So this is the designer, right? Someone looked at this couch and they said from IKEA, and they said they want to make it. Now you can click, I clicked on view more, right? You can look at the 3D model before you add it. That's very important, right? Because when you drop it into your model, like it eats up your memory and slows you down. So here is an opportunity to really get an idea of what you're looking at before you actually download it. You can look at attributes, so they didn't fill out the height, the width, the length, right? Links to about it, right? So if we go back. All right, so if we go over to catalogs here, looks like it's a little bit more professional. Yeah, look at this, way more professional. I'm not really a fan of this couch. It looks like that's a lot, actually. A lot going on. And sometimes models like this are a little too, so much detail that it slows down your model. Right? Very important feature. And actually, if you look, it says polygons, 207,000. That's just like little 3D shapes. And that can slip your memory. File size, 39 megabytes. That's huge. Right, I'll give you a comparison. So if we go back, right, so that would definitely slow down your model. But your goal is to kind of get a high quality sofa with low polygon count, low file size. So it looks like Benjamin F. might have done a good job. And this was located under, can we just get that model? Oh, that's under his collections tab. So let's see if we can find this couch in his collections tab. Is that doable? Here we go. The Flex Form Edmund. Right? Looks like he's a kind of a professional guy. It's been liked and downloaded 153,000 times, right? 194,000 views. We can get the 3D model and let's see what the information we have there. So it's gonna take a minute. Look at that. So this is important. So you can zoom out. Do we have the attributes that we just looked at available to us? I'm not seeing them. Model info. There's 4 materials in this model, right? The polygon 77,000 versus 200,000. Still a big file at 32 megabytes. That previous one was 39. Right? And it was last modified in 2016. Right? It gives you dimensions, gives you all these great things. Right? Even the distance from the origin, right? Not really something that is helpful to me. It sticks out. Right? So I like it. I'm going to download it. Right? And if you want to get, like I just said, see how it says you've selected a large model. Let's see how much it slows it down. Right? But if you want to get like some great renderings, yeah, I see this happens. Okay. But notice how it's not really like slowing down a little bit, slowing down my ability to like process. Right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to push S. We're going to scale this down. Right? Just like that. Right? This is where groups, remember, things come in groups from 3D Warehouse. And I'm going to scroll out, move my mouse, put my mouse where I want to go, and scroll back in. So it's still too big. Scale it a little bit more. Right? A little practice in scaling. Scale it a little bit more. Now, when you bring it looks like it's a close size. It might be a little too much scaling. But when you bring it in, remember when you move things, you're just moving the little point where you're clicking and everything that's attached to it. So when it comes to adding furniture, you want to find the little point on the edge of the couch, right? So you got sucked into the couch. There you go. There's a little edge right here. See this? We want that point to stick on the surface. We don't want it to go below the surface. We want it to stick on the surface. So we're going to take that, click that edge, scroll out, bring it into the space. All right, look how it's snapping to that surface. There we go. Right, it didn't go below it. Right, it's sitting right on that surface. And again, if I bring it up and I touch that surface, it says on facing group. Perfect. Now we can kind of look at it in the space. And then we can even measure it. So we can push T. Right, so typically the length of couch is about 7-8 feet, right? It's pretty big. So this wall is 8'4". So we don't want to go beyond that, right? It looks like this couch is actually this wall and the couch line up. So I'm going to estimate that it's 8 feet. So what we're going to do is we are going to move this against the wall. And actually, we're not going to go all the way. Right? It's just going to bump up against it. And notice how it gets cut off a little bit over there. We're going to move this back on the green until it gets cut off. See how it gets cut off like that? Move it back to the right until it gets, if you look on the left, kind of near my mouse there on the left, see how that pillow gets cut off? Right, move it to the right. Right, and you can kind of get a little bit of top. That's normal space, right? We're going to hit scale, and we're going to hit this corner, and we're just going to bring it out to the end. And we can kind of use the edge of this blue line. See that blue line right there in the corner over here? Right, we're going to use that blue line to line up with the edge. Perfect. Click the free space. And there we go. We have a scaled couch where our reference was the length of that wall. And now it looks like it's a good size. We can measure it to confirm, so press T. Right? Edge to edge, 7'9". Normal size couch. It's good for me. Alright. So that's that. So notice how when we add this window, this couch in, it makes this window look really high. So let's get our guy. Let's add a little bit more scale. So we're going to take this guy, remember? We want him to stand on the ground, so we're going to choose a point on the bottom of the shoe. I'm going to take this guy, for scale, his name is Ty. We're going to put them in the space. So there you go. I mean, now it doesn't look so big. And actually, I jump even further ahead, right, to give you guys all the information. We're going to position the camera in that space. And now we can look and say, okay, all right, I think it's working. It's a low couch. I'll give them that. It's a low couch. We could raise it up. Like 3 inches. Scrolling out. Right, but then it's hovering, so we would have to do a little bit of work on that. So I'm just going to Control Z and drop it back down. But right, so that's how we add furniture. Okay.